We have a little bit of slow traffic eastbound 64. It's bogged down right at 170 into about Big Bend, but westbound 64 looks great coming out of the city. It's fine all the way out through St. Charles County. The rest of these highways are doing pretty well. We just have a little bit of a slowdown, maybe a half, 3/4 of a mile on northbound 55, approaching 67 down in Festus, but otherwise incident-free, and it looks like we're good to go anywhere else. I'm Roger Brand at the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
News, traffic, and the latest from the world of sports. This is Rush Hour Sports on 104.1 FM KMOX.
A merry day after Christmas to you. Welcome in. It still kind of feels like a holiday, but we are here for you. It is Redbird Rush Hour Sports. Every once in a while I call it by the wrong name. Alongside of Bernie Miklasz, I'm Matt Pauley. We hope that everybody out there had an absolutely wonderful Christmas, and we are here with you for the next hour or so, taking you till 6 o'clock tonight. Bernie, Merry Christmas. Always great to be able to work with you.
Yeah, Matt, likewise. I hope everything yesterday was great for you and your family, and that goes to everyone else, especially our KMOX audience.
What does Christmas look like in the Miklasz household?
Well, it's very festive looking. I mean, the decorations and the trees are just gorgeous, and we always have a pretty sumptuous Christmas meal. My wife's family comes over, and it's just very peaceful and very, what's the word? Just a lot of serenity and people enjoying each other's company. There's no big whoop, so to speak. We exchange gifts, and that's always fun. But it's kind of low key, but in a good way. So yeah, it's always special.
Yeah, there's nothing better for me because I've got two young children. I've got a 6-year-old and a 17, 18-month-old, and just watching them experience everything that is Christmas never gets old. It's at a point now where, my wife and I we really don't get much for each other, if anything at all. The day is all about being able to enjoy their joy and everything, and that's a lot of fun.
Isn't that the best? I mean,
Yeah,
seriously, when you're parents and you know that you can make it a special Christmas for your kids, and that those are the kind of memories that live forever. I think we all have memories of when we were kids, and of course our parents extended themselves and gave us wonderful Christmases, but it's kind of cool to be able to do it with our children. And maybe I think that's actually more special. I really do.
I think so as well. Looking forward to talking to you for the next hour or so about sports. And I've had this conversation with a lot of people on KMOX. It's people who listen a lot are going to feel like, why is Pauley just doing the exact same segment over and over? It's because I want to hear people's thoughts on it. And for folks who are listening to us on Monday, that was the day that Chaim Bloom did a quick press conference, and I popped off with you and Kevin, and I came back on, and we did just a little bit of what Chaim had said, but you and I have not really been able to discuss much of what Chaim Bloom had to say in that media conference earlier this week that was part of announcing the Wilson-Contreras trade. And a couple things jumped out at me on it, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it. First off, they've got a fair amount of starting pitching right now as it sits right now. They have more guys than can fill a rotation. Now, there's going to be injuries. You want competition. You want all that sort of stuff. But they're in a pretty good spot from a numbers standpoint, number of guys who will go into spring competing for a spot in the starting rotation. But Chaim has said they are still willing to add more. They're still kind of on the lookout for maybe that veteran guy who's going to be a big innings eater. And I hear that, and I guess I like the idea of it, but I also wonder how that would all play out if they do end up going and getting somebody, because in a year where I think you do want to extend some opportunities to some young guys, it does lessen the availability for spots if you go do that.
Yeah, I was thinking about this. It's a great topic, and I think it's totally correct to talk about it because it's a big issue. And we're all trying to make sense of the off season, how to read into things. And I tended, when I thought about this more, the fact that he wants to collect more pitching, even though he's collected a lot of pitching already. I think of it in the abstract. I think it's because this is a rebuild, and he won't call it that. No one with the Cardinals will call it that, which I think actually works against them. That's just my opinion. If you're rebuilding and you know that this 2026 season has been set aside to basically export talent that's not going to be with you and import talent that is going to be with you for a long time. If you're collecting young pitching, a lot of young pitching, cost-controlled, team-controlled pitching, like literally they'll have them when they're in the majors for 6 seasons before they become free agents. You're collecting pitching for the next several seasons. It isn't just for this season, because a couple of the guys they acquired who are really, really promising, but they are just prospects, but they're really promising. They wouldn't be part of the 26 or 27, as you know, season anyway, maybe 27. But I think Chaim Bloom's like, look, this is the time, if we're rebuilding, this is the time where we're just going to get as much pitching as we can and make sure we have enough. And I'm sorry for dragging on the answer. It's kind of a 2-part answer. The second part is that I don't think they've made any predetermination who's going to be in the rotation. I mean, I think Libator probably will be, and McGreevy, and we could throw some other names around like a pecking order, so to speak. But I think it's going to be kind of anything goes once they get the spring training. And I mentioned this on Rush Hour last week. I also think we're going to see, well, I shouldn't say we will see. I think there's a possibility we could see them handling their pitching staff in a way that's different than they ever have before. Starters doing some relieving, relievers starting games, pitching a couple innings. I would not be surprised at all if this was a non-traditional starting rotation.
I agree with that. It's popped into my head, especially if they've spent so much time talking about wanting to have bullpen pieces that can go multiple innings. Would
Right.
if they get a bunch of guys who really perform well in spring, is there a scenario where they go with a 6-man rotation and they feel like they're covered enough because they're going to have some relief pitchers who can cover multiple innings? Or is there a scenario where they do a true piggyback situation where you've got 2 guys who are expected to cover all 9 innings every 5th time around? Like that's the different creative stuff. I don't know if you were alluding to those exact type of things,
Right.
but those are the things that I've been thinking about just when I see the number of guys, the potential for maybe another one being added on, and wondering what's the best way to make sure that the guys who deserve to be in the big leagues actually are in the big leagues.
Right, and that's the mystery involved here that we can't answer today. But I just think it'll be unconventional, at least the way we're used to it in St. Louis. I think Ollie Marmol and Dusty Blake kind of changed it the last couple of years, actually, by having this system where they relied heavily on a couple of guys to be 2-inning relievers. And it's one of the reasons why they had a top 2 or 3 bullpen in the majors the last 2 years. That was the strength of the team, and they still have the pieces in place to make it the strength of the team again. Because after all, even though Lehey's going to be a starting pitcher candidate, they've assembled enough pitching, deeper pitching, where they can have. I would assume, there's no question in my mind they have candidates who could take that role that Kyle Lehey had last year, and you put him with Matt. Gosh, I'm having a blank out here. Yeah, sorry, I don't know why. It's stupid. I apologize. Yeah, and then this second reliever to be named later, who's already in the organization, would be partnering with Swanson doing this, and they have a number of guys who could do that. So I think we'll see more of that because I think it worked a lot. And I also think it lessens the load on your starting pitchings. I know that there's a case to be made. Well, actually, they should be trying to get starters more innings. And in general, I see the point in that. But I also know baseball has changed dramatically. I don't really see an innings eater, so to speak, on this staff. So I think they're going to have to compensate for that in a number of ways. And shortening the game is one of the ways to do that, by not only with 2 guys, but maybe there'll even be a third guy that'll be a 2-inning reliever. That's the other thing. And I think the piggyback scenario will be considered. It all depends. I think a lot of it does depend on how it looks in spring training and who's healthy and who's not in spring training. And then they'll go from there and set it all up for the regular season.
As long as you avoid blow up days, a true piggyback situation, and I would actually love to see the way they do it in the minors, and you never see this happen in the big leagues, but the way they do it in the minors is you've got 2 guys, and one time through the order, one guy will start and go 5 innings, and then the second guy will come in and go 4 innings, and then the next time it switches where the other guy starts and goes 5 and the other guy relieves and comes in 4. If you can actually do that and be disciplined on it, and you get the true 9 innings between the two guys, so if the first guy ends up going 2 innings, you're in trouble. If the second guy can't get an out when he comes in out of the bullpen, and it creates situations that optically look terrible because that first guy is just rolling through 5 innings, and then he gets pulled because that's the system, and then the next guy comes in and gets blown up, and everybody's going, "What in the world are you doing?" Like those type of situations can happen, but for the most part, it does give a day off for your bullpen, except for one guy who's kind of a starter.
Yeah, and I think we'll see the so-called Memphis shuttle working extra hard this coming season too, because they're going to want to take a look at some younger reliever types. This is the year to give everyone the ball and say, okay, let's see what you can do. But no, I think the piggyback format would work really well, especially with guys who have not piled up a lot of innings in the big leagues, and I think Kyle Lehey's one of them. Although I don't think it's going to be difficult for him to handle starters innings because he actually pitched a lot of innings last year. So we'll see. There are so many different ways that they can go with this. And, the fact that he would when he says he'd like to add a pitcher, he's talking about a veteran pitcher. And so I'm not sure what pool of starting pitchers out there that he would be referring to. Maybe that pitcher comes in one of the trades that we still expect that'll go down here in the next couple, 3-4 weeks. But I think, I think the pitching market is kind of outpricing, even at the lower end, what the Cardinals would want to spend. You look at the contract that Adrian Hauser got. You look at some of these other contracts that have come down where guys are getting multiple years, guys who I think a lot of people thought would be 1-year guys, 10, 12 million, stuff like that. And they're getting 2-year deals. And I was one of these guys that thought Hauser would be a good pickup for the Cardinals. It wouldn't cost him much and he could do a job. I also thought Chris Bassett would fit that prototype, the Toronto pitcher. But the thing of it is, there are a bunch of teams that want Bassett, so he's going to get a much bigger contract than people thought. So that's the thing. I think the marketplace has changed a lot. And so I listen, Heimblum and all of the guys that work with him, they're going to find guys at a low cost that they believe can exceed the expectations based on their salary. I don't know who those guys are, but I know they'll come up with a couple if they have to.
That's Bernie Miklasz. I'm Matt Pauley. I want to keep this discussion going. I actually want to target in a little bit on somebody that Bernie's mentioned a couple times, in Kyle Lehey, and how all of this is going to impact him and whether or not he still has a legitimate shot at being a starter. We'll talk about that coming up in just a moment. This is Rush Hour Sports on the day after Christmas right here on KMOX.
KMOX, celebrating 100 years. Presented by Purina, your pet, our passion. Now, a KMOX pioneer.
With his deep, resonant voice and flawless delivery, John McCormick became the sound that millions heard as the day came to a close. Affectionately known as the man who walks and talks at midnight, McCormick brought you a calm, dignified presence to KMOX's late night hours. A throwback to the golden age of radio announcers.
Good morning, everyone. John McCormick speaking, the man who walks and talks at midnight. From our little part of the world, the city of St. Louis, here comes 50,000 clear channel red-hot watts of the wide horizon late-night signal of radio.
Listeners across the country tuned in to hear that unmistakable voice, a steady, comforting companion whose elegance and precision helped shape KMOX's nighttime identity for generations. John McCormick, a KMOX pioneer.
Your ambition just met its match with Robinhood. Trade stocks and ETFs, options, futures, and crypto all on one platform. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move. All investments involve risk, including loss of principal. Options, futures, and crypto trading carry significant risk and may not suit all investors. Securities offered through Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC. Futures trading is offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, not FDIC or SIPC protected. Crypto offered through Robinhood Crypto LLC, NMLS ID 1702840, not FDIC or SIPC protected. Portfolio management offered by Robinhood Strategies, an SEC registered advisor.
Hi, Hey, it's me, Flo, here to tell you that with the Progressive Home and Auto Bundle, you get 24/7 protection, so you're covered no matter where the day takes you.
Even I added too much water to the pizza dough day?
Yep.
How about getting a call from my daughter to pick her up at the airport because her boyfriend is unreliable day?
Especially that day.
What about finding out that one of my pipes suddenly burst in my basement day?
Progressive has every day covered 24/7 with the Home and Auto Bundle. Also, you have a lot of bad days.
Oh no, that was all the same day.
At least you're covered with Progressive.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Traffic from the michaelsflooringoutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, we've got a crash right now on eastbound 64 just east of McCausland. They're blocking the right lane. 2 left lanes are getting by. So you've got not a solid jam, but traffic's bogged down from just east of Hanley all the way up. It's pretty solid by the time you get to McCausland up to that crash again east of there in the right lane. So 2 left lanes getting by that scene. We also have a crash reported northbound 55 at the Highway 32 exit. Sounds like it's on the exit ramp. That's St. Genevieve. I don't see any backups on the interstate there. And we also have a car into the creek. A rescue crash reported on Old Highway M at St. Luke's Church Road, but otherwise interstate travel is looking good. I'm Roger Brand at the michaelsflooringoutlet.com Traffic Center.
This is Rush Hour Sports on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Alongside of Bernie Miklasz, I'm Matt Pauley. This is Rush Hour Sports right here on KMOX. Great to have you with us today as we take you all the way till 6 o'clock tonight. We are going to have a encore presentation of this week's Countdown to Opening Day show. That's going to be going on this evening from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. Bernie, I want to specifically get into mainly one guy, but I'm going to bring somebody else into this as well because I think it impacts them, especially if the Cardinals bring in another starting pitcher. But even as it sits right now, I think you're looking at a rotation. I know you said a few moments ago that nobody's been given a job yet. I agree with that. But generally speaking, I feel pretty good about Dustin May, Matthew Liberatore, and Michael McGreevy, along with probably Hunter Dobbins, assuming healthy, being in the rotation. That's 4 spots that are taken. At that point, you have a Richard Fitz, who you just traded for. You have a Kyle Lehey and Andre Palante, and I'll throw Quinn Matthews in there as well because the expectation is that he was going to compete for a job in spring. I do wonder, somebody like Kyle Lehey, who the organization has spoken so openly and so excitedly about the idea of him being a starting pitcher. That's been one of the big narratives from this club coming out of last year, coming into this upcoming season. Is there a spot for him in the rotation, especially with more guys coming? At some point, Liam Doyle's going to get here. There's other young pitchers that are not that far away. It feels like all the momentum is going against Kyle Lehey and certainly Andre Palante, but I think Leahy's the more interesting person to talk about for the moment.
Getting back to kind of my familiar theme, because this is a rebuild, this is the ideal time to put Kyle Lehey in the starting rotation because, listen, the Cardinals are the ones. I happen to agree with them, but the Cardinals have said repeatedly they think he can be, not just a starter, but a really good starter. And Ollie Marmol has made it sound like they consider that basically a priority to give him every chance to earn a job. They really believe in him. And you know what? I have to say, and listen, I'm sorry to be numbers boy here, but I dug into some things. And the thing about Kyle Lehey, first of all, what do starting pitchers need? They need to have a really, really strong arsenal where they can get hitters out in a number of ways. He threw 6 different types of pitches last year. Only one of them was below average, and that was the changeup. And he didn't even throw it that much, and it was only a -1. They have a thing called pitching run value. A -1 is like a tick below average. His 4-seam was way above average. His slider was way above average. His curveball was way above average. His sweeper was above average. His sinker was above average. So when you have a guy that's he's got 6 pitches in his toolbox and 5 are clearly above average or even well above average, and only one of them is just like, okay, it's not great, but it's all right. That opens your eyes, especially that a reliever was able to use that kind of repertoire. And then the other thing, and if you don't mind me looking at my note, I got to cheat because heck, I looked this stuff up for a reason, right?
Yeah.
The other thing is that he pitched 2 innings or more in 20 games last season. And when he had those 20 appearances where it was 2+ innings, it totaled 44 2/3 innings. He gave up 5 earned runs in these longer relief gigs for a 1.01 ERA. And he and then like even the stats, like I won't read the stats, but hitters hardly scratched him when he was going deeper in a relief performance. And then the other thing too is when he was asked to go longer and do it more often than most MLB relievers last year, his stuff held up well. Like he had 33 relief outings that lasted more than an inning. And in those 64 and 2/3 innings, he had a 1.81 ERA. So he has shown that he can handle 2 or 3 innings without much problem. And one reason for that is because he's got so many pitches that work well for him. And I just think he scores very, very well. Like, StatCast has a thing called pitching value metric that they put on all pitchers, including relievers. And if I read you the list of names of pitchers that Kyle Lehey did better than they did, we can start with a guy that just got $212 million. Dylan Cease is one of them. I mean, there's a bunch of pitchers that are getting big money where Kyle Lehey actually outperformed them last year. So that's the basis for the reason why I say I understand why the Cardinals are pretty excited about Lehey as a starter, because he has shown that he's got great stuff.
The other thing I think is take a lesson from last year. In many ways, the quote-unquote runway season did not produce the results that you would have wanted. And when I say results, I mean the answers on certain guys. We don't know a whole lot more about Jordan Walker and Nolan Gorman now than we did last year. But one of the great successes of last year was giving Matthew Liberatore the chance to just take the ball every 5th day and see who he was. And turns out he's a pretty good starting pitcher. So in the same vein, I think there is some value to, if you've got questions on a guy who at least profiles out, for all the reasons that you just mentioned, Bernie, if you've got a guy that profiles out to be a pretty good starting pitcher, not to bring up runways once again, but there's a good chance, there's a good candidate for a good solid runway.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I think, look, Liberatore, what happened to Liberatore last year, to me, wasn't unexpected. I mean, his first 10 starts were magnificent to the point where it's like, the balloon's going to deflate a little bit here, because he had to show that he had to get over those innings, that innings hurdle, and he hit the proverbial wall as a first-time starter. And maybe Kyle Lehey would hit that wall. In fact, Kyle Lehey hit a wall last year, earlier in the year, but rebounded from it, and so did Matthew Liberatore. So that was a good sign. But the idea with runway, I mean, listen, I think having so many starting pitcher candidates that they would be happy to give the ball to, it also means that they're not going to rush Quinn Matthews. If his command's off, he's not quite there yet. They're not going to rush Liam Doyle if they don't have to. If a couple of their pitchers might shut down for precautionary reasons down in Memphis or whatever, they won't have to do anything stupid and sort of push a guy they shouldn't be pushing. So the depth is a really good thing because it can cover a lot of innings any way you want to cover them. In other words, it's up to them to kind of slice it into pieces, but they can cover a lot of innings. There can be runway guys, and they have some young veterans who I think we all like a lot. And no one, including Matt Pauley or Bernie Miklasz, is sitting here saying, oh, this will be a great starting rotation. Mm-mm. But I want to remind people that over the last 2 years where you had a lot of veteran starters in that rotation, the Cardinals were 25th in the majors in starting pitching ERA. So my point is, well, what the heck have you been watching the last couple of years, or actually the last 3 years? Starting pitching has been pretty awful, right? So you can ride with these younger, unproven guys. How are they going to do any worse is what I'm saying. Sorry, man.
No Miles Michaels and no Eric Fetty's a step forward, no matter almost who's replacing them in the rotation as far as I'm concerned. We'll take a break for our bottom of the hour news. We got a lot more. That's Bernie. I'm Matt. This is Rush Hour Sports on KMOX.
CVS Health supports people in the moments that matter, from picking up a prescription to connecting care. With nearly 5 million daily interactions and serving 185 million consumers and 1.5 million healthcare professionals, CVS Health holds a trusted place in healthcare. By simplifying care and improving health, we're helping people get the care they need. Learn more at cvshealth.com/investorday.
A new exclusive offer with an eligible Bank of America Visa credit card is your opportunity to go from cardholder to ticket holder for the FIFA World Cup 2026. For a limited time, when you're approved for a new customized cash rewards or unlimited cash rewards Visa credit card, you're eligible for a chance to purchase FIFA World Cup 2026 tickets. Learn more today at bfa.com/cardfwc26. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be the official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Bank of America N.A. in partnership with Visa. Terms apply. All rights reserved.
At 5:30, we have 57 degrees, partly cloudy skies downtown at the Arch. A special advisor to Nigerian President Bola Tinubu on Friday said the government had shared intelligence information with the United States prior to the strikes, but acknowledged that it was not clear yet who exactly was the target. According to President Donald Trump, the U.S. launched a, quote, powerful and deadly, close quote, strike against forces of the Islamic State group in Nigeria after spending weeks accusing the West African country's government of failing to rein in the targeting of Christians. Advisor Daniel Bawala said Trump's claim was vague as the Nigerian government had not yet been able to establish whether IS migrants, members of the Lukwara group, or other fighters had been targeted.
We both disagree on one thing. They believe it is a targeted killing of Christians, and we have maintained the position, which is backed up by data, that there is no targeting of a particular religion, because evidence and data showed that all people of all faith in Nigeria, and even those who have not identified with faith, have become victims.
The Northeast is facing a snowstorm Friday that is expected to bring significant snow totals to some areas. The National Weather Service has issued a weather storm warning for New York City, and Mayor Eric Adams says the city agencies are ready for the storm and urges residents to stay vigilant and prepared.
The city is ready. DSNY, NYSEM, FDNY, NYPD, and DOT and all our agencies have been working around the clock preparing for this winter weather system.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, tonight partly cloudy, areas of fog late with lows of 43 degrees. Tomorrow, areas of low clouds and fog giving way to some sun with highs of 63. On Sunday, cloudy, breezy, and warm with periods of rain and a thunderstorm. Any thunderstorm can produce hail and damaging winds, highs near 70 degrees. It'll be dropping off significantly from there, turning sharply colder Sunday night into Monday. Blustery, much colder with sunshine and some clouds, highs only near 30 degrees. And on Tuesday, mostly sunny and remaining cold, highs near 35 degrees. Right now, we're looking at 56 in St. Peter's, 56 in Florissant, and downtown at the Arch, partly cloudy skies, 57 degrees. I'm Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Caesars Sportsbook is the only sportsbook app with Caesars Rewards. Bet on gridiron action and earn perks on every game, like hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, and more. Download the app using promo code Radio250BM and get your first bet matched as a bonus bet up to $250 whether you win or lose. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Missouri. Open to New Users only. Minimum odds -500. Awarded as non-withdrawable bonus bet that expires 14 days after receipt. Bonus bet amount not returned for winning bets. Void where prohibited. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-941-2255. That's 800-941-2255.
Hey, Bernie Miklasz here, coming to you on behalf of my friends at Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin Comfort dealer. And you've heard me talk about Saliga Heating and Cooling many times before, and I'm proud to do it because we've been a Saliga family for 18 years. We have had a number of experiences with them, a couple of those experiences being kind of scary, where we thought, what are we going to do now? This is going to be really, really expensive. But as we learned after those initial experiences, if something goes wrong with your heating and cooling, you will feel good about who is going to be showing up to take care of it. It will give you peace and comfort knowing that Saliga is on the way and the problem will be solved. And when they deal with you, they have integrity that is beyond reproach. They're never going to try to hustle you, talk you into something, sell you something more expensive you don't need. In our experience, the Miklasz experience, they always look for the least expensive solution first. They look to save us money. And so I'm telling you stuff that generations of St. Louis families could have told you, because Saliga, their family has been for generations have continuously been taking care of countless generations of St. Louis families since 1927. How's that for credibility? So if you want to find out more about Saliga Heating and Cooling, including their maintenance plan called the Priority Club that'll save you money by extending the life of your current equipment, you can find it all at their site, including the phone number, by going to SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. Thank you.
Some people spend more time planning their weekend barbecue than their retirement. And hey, I love barbecue, but ribs won't pay your bills at 85. I'm Gary Goldberg, the founder of Financial and Tax Strategies. I'll help you retire younger, richer, and with less anxiety. Give me a call, 800-966-1690, or visit us at checkwithgary.com before you burn through more than just your burgers.
Investment advisory services offered through Centaurus Financial, Inc., an FFC registered investment advisor.
Want to build income without a second job? Learn how real estate investing can help you create extra income one step at a time with Lifestyles Unlimited. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
If you want thick, healthy, gorgeous hair, then you need Hair Volume from New Nordic. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy, Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
When life happens and you need to sell your St. Louis area home, call trusted realtor Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria is St. Louis's real estate expert with more than 22 years of experience and expertise, helping you sell quickly and for the most money.
Selling your home can be so stressful, especially when life happens, like a sudden job change, a passing of a loved one, or a growing family. Knowing exactly how much your home will sell in today's market is the first step. Then I back it up with an upfront written guarantee. My guarantee is simple and easy to understand. If I can't sell your home at our agreed upon price and time frame, I'll buy it myself.
When life happens, the name to remember is Gloria Liu, Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. I strongly suggest you call her right now at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
This is Justin Brown with Krenz Financial Group. For over 6 decades, we've helped St. Louis families and businesses plan with purpose and live with confidence. Is your financial advisor proactive or reactive? If your strategy or service feels stagnant or misaligned, it may be time for a change. Our defined, proactive approach to investments and communication keeps you informed and prepared for what's ahead. Let's talk about what makes us different and how a more engaged advisor can help you reach your goals. Your goals, our mission. Start today at kfgadvisors.com.
Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services, member FINRA/SIPC. Krenz Financial Group is not a broker-dealer.
For 100 years, KMOX has been the voice of St. Louis, informing, entertaining, and connecting our community. Now, relive a century of service at KMOX100.com, a website that allows you to explore classic KMOX audio, rare photos and video, and the legendary voices that shaped St. Louis. Every headline, every heartbreak, every heartbeat lives on at KMOX100.com.
For all station contest rules, go to KMOX.com/rules.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, we're still working with our only trouble spot, and that's this crash eastbound 64 east of McCausland. The two left lanes are still getting by eastbound 64 east of McCausland, but it's a solid jam back through 170. So as you come around the bend east of McKnight on eastbound 64, be prepared. Bumper to bumper crawling through there. South 170, that left lane is jam back just to about the U Club Tower, so it's not too extensive of a backup there. Highway 30 at County Line Road had a report of goats in the roadway a few minutes ago, so watch it there. Northbound 55 a little slow into 67 in Festus. Old Highway M at St. Luke's Church Road, they're working with a vehicle that went down into the creek there. I'm Roger Brand at the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
This is Rush Hour Sports on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Rush Hour Sports continues here on KMOX. Do want to remind you about the brand new website that just went up, KMOX100.com. You can relive the entire 100th anniversary special that we did. You can also see about all of our KMOX pioneers. There's exclusive audio and video and photos up. So check it out, as it's an opportunity to really relish the first 100 years of KMOX. And we are solidly now into year 101, as Christmas Eve a couple days ago was officially KMOX's 100th birthday. Bernie, I just heard, I don't know if you were listening, Roger Brand was just doing traffic. There was one road, I don't remember what road it was. He said there was an issue because of goats in the road. Have you ever come upon goats in the road while driving?
One time when I was a young driver, no more than 17 years old. Our family home, my parents' home was about a mile away from a dairy farm that provided milk and dairy stuff for the Naval Academy, right?
Oh, wow.
And they also had a lot of goats there for whatever other reasons, I don't know. But yeah, one day about 3 or 4 goats got out, and there's this little road right in front of the place that was the dairy farm for the Naval Academy. And I had to stop and wait for the goats to clear. They seemed like they had done that before, so they weren't too rattled by anything. So they're getting out of there. Bad goat.
I don't think goats don't get rattled. They're very confident in who they are and what they want to do at any given moment.
You know, if you ever see the people that ever watch Navy football games, their live mascot is in fact a goat. Mm-hmm. And the goat's never frazzled. I mean, the goat likes everybody petting him and talking to him, and he very polite, very kind. Rolls with the flow.
There you go. So goats, if you're driving whatever road that Roger Brand was talking about, be careful. Be careful of the goats. We learned this week that the Chiefs have signed a term sheet with the state of Kansas. They're going to leave the state of Missouri. Look, this has been spoken about ad nauseum. And when I was originally, Bernie, kind of putting together the plan of what we were going to talk about today, this was not on my list because we've talked about it so much. But then Mike Florio and Pro Football Talk did a story, and this was I'll read the tweet, and people can go to Pro Football Talk if they want to read the story. But the Pro Football Talk tweet says, the Chiefs' preliminary agreement to move to Kansas has been posted online. Here's one clear takeaway. It's far from final, and it hinges on NFL approval, which gives Missouri an opening to craft a superior offer to keep the team at Arrowhead Stadium. With all due respect to Mike Florio, I don't want Missouri to give a better plan because that plan is crazy what they're giving them. And B, it feels like they've come too far. Like I don't think you can put the toothpaste back in the jar on this one.
I agree with you. I mean, you never say never, and we all know in the NFL the normal ethical standards don't necessarily apply, to put it lightly. So owners can sort of, if they want to change their mind and reverse course, I mean, why not? As we learned with the settlement that the NFL gave St. Louis, they don't follow their own guidelines. I mean, so their procedures for ruling on franchise transfer has been proven to be corrupt, or they wouldn't have given St. Louis all this money. Anyway, no, I mean, the Kansas deal, Sportico, which is a sports business site, was very, very good. They said this was the most lucrative stadium deal for an NFL team in the history of the league. And that this exceeds every other deal that in the past has been referred to as a boondoggle and a waste of taxpayers' money, and just all the negative things you can say about the size of the giveaway to an NFL team to come to their territory. So they've already got the greatest deal that's ever been made in terms of moving a team. And so what is the state of Missouri going to do to top it? I think the Chiefs got everything they wanted and then some. And I think Missouri is in a situation where, the money's that maybe I'm sure there's always there's a will, there's a way. Sorry for the cliche, but I think Governor Kehoe, who really very, very much wanted to keep the Chiefs in the state, I think he made an effort, and I think he asked for more time, and I think he was still trying to put some other things together. So the Hunt family, when you get everything you're asking for, the only decent thing you can do is agree to the deal and then stay with the agreement. I mean, because isn't that what it's all about? Well, this is everything we asked for and then some. So how do you improve on that?
All told, they're going to get like $3 billion. I've seen the number at $1.8 billion. When you really dive into the numbers, especially when it comes to like the rent that they're paying, that money is actually then being recirculated back into the stadium, whether it's to pay for concession workers or security or stadium upgrades. So the rent that they're paying is basically into their own pocket, for lack of a better way to describe it. It's going to end up being about almost $3 billion that they're getting. I get bothered by a couple small things. The one thing, I have a hard time looking at the Chiefs and them saying that this was a fan-first decision when they are lowering the number of seats that are going to be in the stadium. And that is such a great fan base, and there's going to be fans they're going to be priced out, but there's going to be fans who are just numbered out, that they've always had tickets, but they're not going to be able to get in because they have less seats in the new stadium. I feel like they could have I'm no engineer, I'm no architect, I'm no any of these things, but I feel like there could have been a way to put together a stadium, and that maybe they still will, that you can add luxury suites like they want to do without reducing the number of total seats.
No, you're right. And the other side to it, and this isn't my side, although it is a practical matter. They're moving to a to the new stadium that's 20 miles from where I'll always call it Arrowhead, 20 miles away from Arrowhead. So, I mean, we're still talking about the same community. Yeah. In terms of a sports community, it's still the same sports community, but it's just that if the Chiefs, the Hunt family, that decided, no, this is the time. They didn't want to renovate Arrowhead. Missouri couldn't put together stadium plans. They got everything they wanted. This would be the ideal dream deal for an NFL team. So, but the fans, of course, are going to have to pay more, and a lot of them will not get access to season tickets who have had season tickets. So it sucks.
That's Bernie Miklasz. I'm Matt Pauley. One more segment. We're going to look ahead to the football weekend, mostly NFL. Maybe we'll see if any of the bowl games really interest Bernie, but we'll look ahead to the NFL slate coming up this weekend. We'll do that in just a moment. This is Rush Hour Sports on KMOX.
Hey, this is Charlie Brennan. Have you noticed loose bricks or missing mortar around your house, on the walls, the patios, the walkways, the porch, or the chimneys? If so, you need to call Morelli Tuck Pointing. 314-645-1387. You might need one of two things: solid tuck pointing, the removal of old mortar with the replacement of new mortar throughout an entire wall or chimney, or maybe just spot tuck pointing. Spot tuck pointing involves the tuck pointing of a particular wall, a chimney, or other masonry surface in an area where it's needed the most. One example might be settlement cracks, usually found above or below windows or doorways. 314-645-1387. Call the company that the Brennans have called when we've needed tuck pointing. Morelli Tuck Pointing, the masonry specialists. Winner of the Angie's List Super Service Award every year since 2005. 314-645-1387, MorelliTuckPointing.com.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. If you need to sell your home to buy a new one, it's never been more important to have an experienced negotiator that you can trust. You need my friends Mark and Neil Gelman on your side. 314-336-1991. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
Attention business owners with a net income over $500,000. You need to work with a tax strategist that understands your entrepreneurial mindset. Download the most recent white paper written by E3 Consultants Group titled The Power of a Professional Tax Strategy Team. Go to e3wealth.com/radio to obtain a copy. It's time to learn about wealth and tax strategies that protect your personal and business economy. E3 is ready to help you think differently about your finances. Educate, empower, enlighten. That's the E3 difference.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, we got double trouble now on eastbound 64. We have a crash east of Big Bend in the left lane, so traffic's jammed east of McKnight to that one, and then you get a lease to there, and it's still jammed coming up through Bellevue, through McCausland, because that crash has only the left lanes getting by just east of McCausland. So double trouble on eastbound 64. South 170 jammed a little south of Brentwood in that left lane, seeing some heavy traffic on 141 at Conway, northbound more so than southbound. Northbound 55 at 67, still a little heavy there. Highway P at 110, we had an injury incident they sent EMS for, and I don't see any delays. Those goats were in the roadway reportedly. Highway 30 at County Line Road, that's just west of Highway Y. Things look to be on the go there. I'm Roger Brand at the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Rush Hour Sports continues on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Just a few minutes left on this edition of Rush Hour Sports. When we get done at 6 o'clock, we've got a encore presentation of the Countdown to Opening Day show, so you'll want to be tuned in for that beginning in a little bit more than 10 minutes here on KMOX. Looking ahead to the football weekend, let's start with college football. And Bernie, the Mizzou football season will officially come to an end tomorrow night in Jacksonville, where they match up against Virginia in the Gator Bowl. Looks like a pretty good game on paper. Virginia, 19th ranked team in the nation, a 10-win season. Missouri, not ranked, spent much of the team in the rankings. It's certainly an interesting matchup, and of all these non-college football playoff bowl games, this looks like one of the ones that certainly could be somewhat compelling.
Yeah, I mean, Virginia racked up 10 wins in what we all agree is the weakest power conference. But, you know, Miami also played in that power conference, and Miami's looking like a team that could be, you know, a threat to win it all. But I think their head coach will get in the way at some point. But look, Virginia, you sort of have to factor in the ACC factor. But if you look at Virginia, one thing they've done pretty well this year is stop the run. They have a pretty good grade on that, but they haven't faced a running attack like what they're going to get from Mizzou if Mizzou wants to run it. And I think Mizzou takes pride in the running game. And, you know, if you look at the way Mizzou all year long has depended on the run, the only time it didn't work is when they played the very best defenses. Virginia's not that. So I think there's a rather simple path to a victory for Mizzou. And I know they want to have Matt Zollers throw the ball, you know, and get him. Yeah. This is a valuable experience for him. You know, it's interesting because Mizzou opened as a 7-point favorite, but so much money was coming in on Virginia that lines down to Mizzou's a 4-point favorite. So a lot of the people that do this for a living think that Virginia's got a better chance than maybe I do, but we'll see. Bowl games are kind of a wild card factor. You never know.
Now, you have no clue. You don't know how much these guys want to play. The opt-out. Some of these teams will announce their opt-outs day of. There will be guys who are staying on the team and are just not participating in the bowl game, and you didn't even know going in. The Matt Zollers thing is interesting because if he plays well, it's only one game. I'm not trying to make too much of it, but he's going to presumably be in competition with some type of veteran guy that they'll probably bring in via the transfer portal next year. If you're Matt Zollers, it feels like you can grab some momentum for that competition by having a good performance in the bowl game.
You can kind of establish yourself, like in the fans' mind, in the media's mind, your teammates' mind who aren't sure yet. Although I think they all like him very much. They've seen his skill on the practice field, and he's got the arm for a deep passing game that Mizzou. That was the one thing that kept them out of being in the playoffs this year, because they couldn't beat Alabama and they couldn't beat Vanderbilt because they couldn't throw the ball down the field. Zollers gives them that dimension. It's just a matter of experience. So this is one of those bowl games where it really is important for Mizzou, absolutely important for Mizzou, because of a chance to get their quarterback established. It doesn't mean if he has a good game, he's definitely going to be the number one. But if he has a really good game, like you said, your word is correct. It's momentum. And everyone will start to view him as, well, they got their guy. He turn him loose. He'll be ready to go. He'll get all the reps and everything, until the start of the season. He'll be well prepared. So we'll see. And I like Chip Lindsey as our offensive coordinator, a guy who has put 4 quarterbacks in the NFL during his travels as an offensive coordinator in college football, including Drew May. So, Zollers is in really good hands with Lindsey being the guy in charge of this offense going forward.
Bernie, great stuff as always. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll talk next week.
Matt, it was really great being with you. And everybody enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll be back soon enough to share the mic, you and me and Matt Pauley. Thank you.
There you go. That's Bernie Miklasz. I'm Matt Pauley. Countdown to Opening Day show next on KMOX.
Saving money on new appliances when you shop at Menards.